Have you ever stopped, looked deeply into someone's eyes, and asked yourself, do they really love me? That question seems simple, yet it has the power to shake even the strongest hearts. Because when we love, we all long to be understood, to be held with sincerity. But is true love really that easy to recognize? Amid countless sweet promises and fleeting glances, how can we tell what's real love and what's merely an illusion that misleads the heart? It's in that moment of uncertainty, when you crave an answer, that Carl Jung's message becomes the key to unlocking the truth. This isn't just an ordinary saying, it's an awakening. It jolts you, stirs your soul, and perhaps changes forever the way you see love. Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers of the 20th century, wasn't only known for his groundbreaking work in psychology that reshaped humanity's understanding of the mind, but also for his profound reflections on human connection and love. What makes his words special isn't their beauty, but their power to pierce straight into the soul, peeling away the layers we use to hide our hearts. And in those seemingly simple sentences lies a force that has left millions of people silent, as if hearing their own hearts being spoken aloud. When Jung spoke of love, he didn't paint it as a rosy fantasy, nor did he weave it into a melody of illusions. He faced the truth. Love, if it truly exists, is proven through actions, through daily choices, not through broken promises. And it's here that many of us meet our pain. How many times have we believed in beautiful vows, only to be met with coldness, silence, and distance that can never be bridged? Look back at yourself. How many times have you waited for a message that never came? How many times have you longed for a warm embrace, only to be met with an indifferent back turned away? Perhaps you've comforted yourself, saying, maybe they're busy, maybe they're tired, maybe the love is still there. But deep down, you know, love, when it truly exists, never needs excuses. Someone who genuinely loves you will find ways to be present in your life, even in the smallest gestures. That's exactly what Jung emphasized. True love is not measured by words, but by patience, companionship, and the quiet touch that reaches into your loneliness. Jung's words force us to face a painful truth. Many relationships we once believed were love might have been nothing more than attachment, fear of loneliness, or mere habit. Realizing this is heartbreaking. It's like tearing away the veil that once covered the sweet illusion to finally see the bare reality that the other person may have never truly loved you as you hoped. Yet sometimes, that very pain becomes the door that leads us to freedom and to genuine love. Jung didn't write these words to make us despair, but to awaken us. Because in a world where everyone yearns to be loved, we often close our eyes to the obvious signs. We paint beautiful colors over someone who has long stopped being there for us. And in doing so, we lose ourselves. We lose our peace. But if someone truly loves you, they will never let you doubt it. They won't leave you drowning in silence. That love burns not like a fire that flares and dies, but like a steady flame, warm enough to keep you safe through your coldest nights. Those who hear these words may have once sat alone in the dark, tears falling without knowing why. Perhaps after a fight, after being ignored for too long, or after a careless word shattered their trust. It's in those moments that Jung's message becomes clearest. True love does not hurt that way. It may cause pain from differences or misunderstandings, but it never makes you feel small, unwanted, or abandoned. And this truth, though hard to accept, carries a deeply human lesson. That we deserve a love we don't have to beg for, a love that doesn't make us wait in despair, a love that doesn't strip away who we are. True love, as Jung described, is when someone chooses to stay with you, not only in joy, but in your darkest hours, when you're weak, when you're imperfect. What makes this message so moving is that it's not only for those in love, it's for those whose hearts have been broken. It's a gentle whisper that says, you weren't wrong for loving, but now you must learn who truly deserves your love. And in that awakening, you'll find the strength to rise again, to walk away, and to never settle for fragments in place of a whole love. Carl Jung didn't decorate love with romantic words. Instead, he gave us a truth, raw but liberating. The truth that love, if real, will make you feel safe, grounded, and supported. And if you've never felt that, perhaps you've simply stepped into a journey that wasn't meant for you yet. But don't worry. Once your heart knows the truth, it will no longer settle for anything half-hearted. That is the enlightenment Jung left behind. a light gentle enough to soothe, yet strong enough to illuminate even the darkest corners of the human heart. There are certain truths about love that we often avoid because they are too powerful, too brutal, so much so that even touching them feels like making the heart bleed. But Carl Jung never allowed us to run away. He forces us to look directly, to face what we fear, because only truth can free us from the illusions that exhaust and drain us. True love doesn't lie in sweet words or in grand gestures meant to impress others. It reveals itself most clearly in moments of trial, in the days when you collapse, when you are weak and helpless. If someone truly loves you, they will never let you face it alone. If they truly value you, they will stand by you, even when the whole world turns its back. But if they leave you in your suffering, if they choose silence over presence, then that is when the bare truth reveals itself. Love never really existed. This is the knife that pierces our illusion, a painful cut, but a necessary one. How many times have you made excuses for someone? How many times have you whispered to yourself, they're just busy, they're not ready, they must be hurting too, just to soothe your own heart? But be honest, if someone truly loved you, would they let you drift alone in an ocean of loneliness without a single word? True love never leaves you in that kind of emptiness. Carl Jung reminds us that love is not a psychological game, nor a fleeting spark that burns and fades. Love is constancy. It is the strength to endure storms, the hand that never lets go, even when you have nothing left but wounds. And it's here that we realize, perhaps all along we haven't really loved, we've only been clinging. That difference is immense. Clinging makes us afraid of loss, makes us suppress our pain just to keep an image. But real love helps us grow. It gives us the courage to let go when we know the bond no longer brings life to either side. Someone who truly loves you will never demand that you trade your dignity or your freedom to prove your affection. They will lift you up, make you feel worthy of happiness, not smaller with every passing day. The tragedy is that too many people confuse the two. We call fear love. We call attachment connection. We call pity care. And so our hearts wither day by day, believing that this must be love. But eventually, truth will surface. And when it does, it strikes cruelly. They never loved you the way you loved them. Carl Jung didn't write to kill our hope. He wrote to wake us up, to awaken us from the long dream in which we became beggars for affection. Because once awakened, you will see, true love is not a place where you must plead to be seen. It is where you are naturally seen, heard, and felt every day. Someone who loves you will not let you live in doubt or restlessness. They will make sure you know you matter. And if that has never happened, stop torturing yourself. It is not your fault. It simply means they never truly loved you. Admitting this hurts, but it is the first step toward freedom. For only when you leave behind illusions can you walk toward real love, the kind you truly deserve. Jung left us with a message as clear as the sound of a bell. True love needs no proof, no justification. It reveals itself in every action, every choice, every moment. If you've never felt that, perhaps it's time to face the truth and to let go. Truth can feel like a deep wound, so painful it takes your breath away. But that wound is necessary to remove what has decayed. It's like enduring surgery to heal a festering injury rather than letting it slowly destroy you. False love is the same. It may comfort you for a while, but in the long run, it kills you from the inside. Carl Jung never wanted us to live that way. He wanted us to have the courage to choose real love, the kind that makes you larger, brighter, stronger. And sometimes to find that, you must accept the loss of something or someone. But that loss is never meaningless. It opens the door to a better life, to a truer love. So stop lulling yourself with sweet lies. Stop sacrificing yourself for something that was never yours. Let Jung's words strike like lightning in a clear sky. If they truly love you, they will be there, no matter what. If they're not, let go and let your heart find where it truly belongs. There's a painful paradox in love that few dare to admit. Sometimes the person we love most is the one who wounds us deepest. Not because they want to hurt us, but because we trusted them too much. We let them into the most fragile part of us, the place no one else could touch. And when they turn away, even unintentionally, it feels as if our whole world collapses. Someone once said, "The greatest pain isn't being betrayed, it's being forgotten while you still love." And it's true. In love, we can forgive clumsiness, overlook mistakes, but the hardest thing is learning to accept that love is not always returned. The silence of someone who once cared can hurt 1,000 times more than their cold words. In the long nights, you ask yourself, where did I go wrong? Am I not enough? Or is love itself this fragile? Those questions echo endlessly, carving emptiness that no one else can fill. To others, you may seem fine. You smile, you live, but only you know there's a heart bleeding quietly inside. And yet, from that very pain, we learn. To love truly is not to possess, not to cling, not to prove our worth. Sometimes, love means having the courage to let go, to set them free, and to find your own lost peace. It's a hard lesson, but it's the turning point of growth. Perhaps Jung was right. Genuine love doesn't need grand promises. It's shown through silent actions, small gestures that leave deep imprints on the heart. Because when someone truly loves you, you'll never have to wonder if they do. On the other hand, when you keep seeking answers, maybe you already know the truth you don't want to face. And so we realize, pain isn't here to destroy us. It's here to guide us. It leads us to see the difference between real love and illusion. In the moment of letting go, tears will fall, your heart will ache, but slowly you'll see a new light flicker at the end of the road, the light of inner freedom. There comes a moment that every deeply loving soul must face, the moment you realize love can no longer save you. It's not that your heart has stopped feeling, but that no matter how much you love, the other person can no longer fill the emptiness inside you. And then comes the fear. Do I have to walk away from this love to save myself? Pain isn't loud. It lingers quietly, like a long, weary rain. You sit among familiar people, yet feel distant. You see old memories, but instead of smiling, your heart winces. The feeling of no longer being touched, no longer being heard, makes you feel lost even in the place that once felt safest. And then you understand. Sometimes loss doesn't come from someone leaving, but from their cold presence when love has already gone. We often think we are strongest when we love, but the truth is we are never more fragile. Because to love is to hand someone the power to hurt us. They don't have to do much. Just turn away once, and our whole world collapses. Then we fall into an invisible space where no one sees our tears, where our cries echo only inside our own mind. But at the bottom of that pain, another door opens, not to forgetfulness, but to awakening. You realize that love should never mean losing yourself. Love should not be living through another's breath. Love, above all, is learning to protect the wholeness of your own soul, even when the one you love is no longer beside you. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists. What you accept transforms." And perhaps love is the same. We suffer not because love leaves us, but because we haven't yet found the courage to accept the truth. Only when we face it can we finally step out of the cycle of pain. And then you begin to learn how to sit with your pain instead of running away from it. You allow yourself to cry, to be weak, to remember, to miss. But eventually, you also allow yourself to move on, even if that step is slow and trembling. Because you understand that if you keep standing in the same place, you'll never see another tomorrow. Perhaps that's the cruel beauty of love. It breaks you apart, yet from those shattered pieces, a stronger version of yourself is reborn. And in that moment, you'll realize, even if someone leaves, even if love fades, there is still one love worth keeping, the love for yourself. There's something strange about pain. Once you allow it to exist, it slowly becomes lighter. It doesn't disappear. It softens, like a sad song that no longer pierces your heart, but turns into a gentle melody reminding you of what once was, without suffocating you. And from that quiet place, the journey of healing begins. Do you remember the first time you dared to smile after crying yourself empty? That smile wasn't perfect. It trembled. But it was like a thin ray of sunlight shining through the window, whispering that the darkness wasn't forever. You begin to see that life goes on, and even though love has left, your heart still knows how to love. One day, maybe someone new, or perhaps life itself. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. In truth, no one ever really forgets someone they once loved deeply. The memories, the handholds, the embraces, the whispered words in the night, all remain like fragments of a mirror reflecting a beautiful chapter that once was. But healing is learning to look into that mirror without bleeding. It's learning to smile at the memories instead of crying over them. Sometimes you'll feel weak, like you can't go on. But it's in those fragile moments that you remember. Your heart still beats, still aches, and therefore still knows how to come alive again. That heart is like the winter soil, frozen and seemingly dead. Yet when spring comes, tiny buds quietly push through the frost. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And in love, this truth becomes even more profound. You are not the victim of a broken relationship. You are the one who chooses to rise from the ashes and continue writing your own story. One day, perhaps unexpectedly, you'll hear a familiar song, walk past a street filled with memories, or see a silhouette that looks a little like theirs, and your heart will ache again. But this time, you won't collapse. You'll place your hand over your chest, take a deep breath, and whisper, "I've made it through." Healing is not a destination, it's a journey. On this journey, you learn to love yourself more, to cherish each moment, and to understand that some losses only come to teach you how to value what remains. And from those very losses, you'll discover a strength you never knew you had. In the end, you'll realize that love never truly disappears. It only changes form. The love once given to another transforms into love for your family, your friends, your work, your dreams, and above all, for yourself. And that is the most enduring kind of love, the one that stays with you for a lifetime. Some love stories pass through our lives like a storm, sudden, fierce, sweeping away all our calm, leaving behind ruins and emptiness. Yet from that destruction, we learn that no storm lasts forever. One day, the sky will clear again. People often ask, what's the hardest part after a breakup? Perhaps it's not their absence that hurts the most. It's losing yourself in the process. When love ends, a part of you, the part that once intertwined with them, feels gone. And so, in the days that follow, you must slowly find your way back to yourself, a lonely but necessary journey. There will be nights when you still cry remembering their eyes. Mornings when your chest feels hollow as you look out the same window where you once sat together. Those wounds don't fade in a day, a month, or even a year. But with every breath, every step, you're slowly walking through them, whether you notice it or not. Pain, strangely enough, is the most patient teacher. It doesn't teach through words, but through cracks in your heart. It forces you to face, to accept, and eventually, to grow. You realize that love doesn't always mean keeping someone. Some loves come only to teach you how to love more deeply, then quietly leave. And what you must do is not cling, but be grateful that it once existed. When you stop blaming and stop regretting, you'll see that love never really left. It becomes part of you, flowing through your veins, and somehow it transforms you into a kinder, softer, more compassionate human being. One day, you'll notice. You no longer cry when hearing that old song. You no longer tremble walking past the cafe you once went to. You no longer ache seeing two hands intertwined on the street. Instead, you smile, because you understand. Even though you lost a love, you never lost your capacity to love. And maybe the greatest message that a broken relationship leaves behind is this: no one can truly take love away from you. They may leave, but love remains, transformed. It lives in every tear you shed, every scar you carry, and every ounce of strength you reclaim. Love is never wasted, even when it's incomplete. Because every time we love, we learn to open our hearts, to give, and to live more honestly with ourselves. And if today you are hurting, believe this. One day this pain will become your light, guiding you to love more fully, more peacefully, and more kindly. The final part of the journey is not forgetting. It's acceptance. Acceptance that some people are only meant to walk beside us for a while, and that doesn't make life any less beautiful. Acceptance that love doesn't need to last forever to be real. And acceptance that from loss, we rediscover a love that endures, love for ourselves and for life itself. And in that tender afterglow, you'll feel lighter than ever. No more resentment, no more sorrow, only a soft whisper carried by the wind. Thank you for having loved me, and thank you for teaching me how to love again, starting with myself. Download as audio.